Amongst the Yakurr-speaking people of Cross River State are the Ugep people. It is believed that they occupy the largest village in West Africa. Originally known as Umo Otutu, the name Ugep came during its early contact with Western civilization around the 16th and early 19th century. Ugep people generally speak the Loke language, common amongst all the central parts of present-day Cross River State. The history of their settlement at their present location, like most communities in Africa, had followed series of migration, especially from southwestern Cameroon in the late 15th century. This movement was greatly influenced by the prevailing transatlantic slave trade which dominated the period.
The Ugep kingdom is quite ancient. We migrated to this spot 1660. In 1660, we were comfortably settled here. We migrated from southwest Cameroon to here because of the slave trade that created so much insecurity in our former settlement, where we called Lekana Bakba.
Those earliest inhabitants of Ugep had brothers and sisters in other parts of Akba settlements, such as Elege, who had lived there even longer than their ancestors, in the event of a serious misunderstanding between their ancestral relations. The Ugep people, led by both Tata Edem Ominakba and Obol Ika of Lebojima matrilineal clan, embarked on a great exodus in 1773 at the end of the great departure from Akba, the promised land, for a fresh settlement at Okpawen in Ijima, now revered as the cradle of Ugep people. Like most pre-colonial civilizations that existed in Africa, the Ugep people had a well-developed culture with several institutions that have endured their rich history to present day. One of such is the traditional administrative process and kingship headed by the Obolopon of Ugep, regarded as the chief custodian of their heritage and rich culture. The people have a deep attachment to their ancestral gods and deities that are regularly appeased and acknowledged, particularly at the commencement of most traditional events. However, every encounter with the king must also begin with the royal welcome and invocations. For a quick and easy identification between the Obolopon and the Bina, the tradition of the Ugep people provided that only the Obolopon is qualified to wear a traditional cap which was decorated with likpemlem round the cap, while the rest of the Bina were qualified to wear caps decorated with single linings on top.
As a king in this community, you are the #1 citizen. What I'm wearing here is the tiger nails. So the moment you sit down on this throne, you are regarded as a tiger of this community, the lion of the community. So these are lion nails. This cap you see is over 200 years old. Even this one, over 6 kings, past kings have worn it before me. And by God's grace, I'll use it and hand it over to, when God called me, another person will wear them. They are old things. They are not made by me. We inherit them as we take over the throne.
The precious royal bangle on the hand can be worn during big and important traditional festivals like the Ugep International New Yam Festival, known as Leboku. The ancient town of Ugep is ruled by 3 strata of nobility.
You have the Obolopon, the Royal Majesty. You have the second strata, the Opebli, the Onuneko, and Ebinya. And then the third strata, Bina. Those ones constitute what we call the Traditional Rulers' Council. Those 3. Their chairman is the Obolopon of Ugep.
Each component of this traditional council has various functions to perform.
Basically, 4 functions. The first function is military. If Ugep is going to war with a neighboring settlement, the decision must be taken by them. If they don't take the decision, there'll be no war. They have administrative functions. We wrote a letter to the Obolopon that we were going to come on this day. Yesterday we met here. They said, can we look at the letter? Between yesterday and today, he has mobilized all this. That's administration. He has judicial functions. There are so many disputes. They bring the dispute. He and this thing now look at the dispute and settle them. And he has ceremonial functions. Every year, he must perform what we call termi before any farmer. And 99% of the people are farmers before they go into the farms.
As Ugep people dwelled in their original ancient home of Akpa or Umowen in the 16th century, they were ruled by direct descendants of Lebo-Jima royal family dynasty, in accordance with their already existing age-long principle of divine right of Lebo-Jima as rulers, Yabol Lepon, with its attendant rule of hereditary succession. This rule was followed strictly up to Obol Efa Okoy, who ruled between 1908 to 1913, before the introduction of Okpan in the rulership of Ugep.
My predecessor was not a direct son of the royal family. His predecessor was not a direct son of the royal family. We borrow people when we don't have any legitimate son of the family. We borrow them. We borrow people. We borrow within the family. Like if in my family they look and there's no responsible person that will become the Obol, they take my son, whose mother is not a member of the royal family. We call them Okpan. We call that kind of Obol Okpan. Somebody who is not from the royal family is borrowed from another family to come and sit here as Obol. We call them Okpan. They say those one bring blessing. If a son of the father from the royal family is taken, it's called Okpan. It's not called Obol. It's Obolopon. But his kinship is not like the son who is direct from the family.
During the past, successive reigns which range from Obol Ika to Obol Omini, each of them a descendant of Lebo-Jima royal family, ruled over Ugep community. They were also in charge of Lebo-Jima matrilineal king group. They lived in Ijiman and occupied the ancient Obolopon palace at Lebokom near Okbawen. The ancient Ugep traditional community had line up of the Lebo-Jima dynasty of Ekpeni and Efium, Atabasi or Elesi, and Yakun Kunebol since 1746 to date. Obolopon, who had ruled Ugep, and since then as successive Obolopon selected.
When an Obolopon dies, the community, the Obolopon after burial, they will bury, Obolopon dies today. If it is in the morning, they will bury him in the evening. If it is late, they bury him early the next morning. Obolopon is buried like a Muslim. You are buried with nothing, no clothes. They just use leaves and mats, local mats, to bury the Obolopon. That shows that you came with nothing, no matter the amount of wealth you have. You go with nothing, just like the Muslim do burial. That's how Obol is buried. So as soon as Obol is buried, the search for a new Obol starts. They will check. We have the royal family in Ugep. Like I told you, our kinship is matrilineal. That is, we follow our mothers. If your mother is from the royal family, then you have prospect of becoming the Obol.
First, Obol Ika Obolopon of Ugep from 1746 to 1788. Obol Ayo from 1788 to 1800. Obol Eja 1800 to 1821. Obia Obol, who was a woman, ruled from 1821 to 1830. Obol Uket, her son, ruled from 1831 to 1851. Obol Ebri ruled from 1851 to 1860. Obol Otu Ekpoli ruled from 1860 to 1874. Obol Usani ruled from 1874 to 1883. Obol Omini from 1883 to 1908. Obol Efa Okoye ruled from 1908 to 1913 and is distinct from Obol Kemboka. Obol Ikpi Eyong ruled from 1913 to 1939 and was an Okban. Obol Obu Ubi ruled from 1939 to 1951. Obol Mbui Ubi ruled from 1951 to 1957. Obol Enang Obeten ruled from 1957 to 1986. He was also an Okpan, and Obol Ubi Ujong Ina ruled from 1986 to 2015 as the first Yakun Kunebol descendant. Presently, Ugep town has His Royal Majesty Obol Ofem Ubana Eteng as the 16th Obolopon of Ugep.
I mean, there were no way. When we be I am going to conquer. About Comboka.
During the period of his fattening, if you stay 2 months, you dress like this for 2 months. You don't wear shirt, you don't wear shoe. You dress with this raffia cloth. This cloth is not weaved here, it is weaved by Ebonyi people. We buy it from there. The confinement of the Obolopon is done by government of the Cross River State. Because the Obolopon in Cross River, Obolopon is the second, apart from Obon of Calabar, Obolopon is the second king in Cross River. So his confirmation is done by government. He will be issued certificates, 2 certificates, as Obolopon of Ugep. They issue him a certificate. They issue him a certificate as a clan head of Ibe Median clan. They issue him a certificate. Thereafter, the paramount law, if he becomes a paramount law, he will be issued another certificate. So that's how Obolopon is confirmed.
His Majesty Obol Ofem Ubana Eteng was born on April 16, 1959, to the family of the late Ete Ubana Eteng Usakali of Unebu Ijom Ugep. He is the matrilineal royal family Lebo Jima. His mother, the late Ma Eni Ubana Eteng, was the daughter of Ma Ublenmi Itam, who was the granddaughter of the late Ma Okwo Ikpi. These are all grandmothers of the 16th Obolopon, whose genealogy is of Obol Tata Elesi family, one of the three matrilineal families, that is, Ekpani, Tata Efium Atabasi, Tata Elesi, that makes up Obol Etete, meaning original Lebo Jima royal family of Ugep.
I attended government primary school Ugep. I attended Edenafa secondary school Ugep. I finished secondary school in 1979. I finished primary school in 1971.
He had a stint at the Dend Ruku Vocational and Commercial School, Ugep, in 1974. And he proceeded to the popular Edenafa Secondary School, Ediba, in Abi local government area of Cross River State. He started his military career into the Nigerian Army in 1982. 15
December 1982. In the Army from 1983, 1984, 85, 86. I was in the university. I went to Imo State University, where I graduated. I had a degree in public administration.
Obol Ofem Ubana Eteng also obtained a diploma certificate in global terrorism in 1999.
Then in the Army, I attended so many courses. I attended Nigerian Army School of Finance and Administration, Apapa. I attended Nigerian Army School of Intelligence, Apapa. I attended a school in Command and Staff College, Jaji. Those are the schools, and I have other certificates. I have a certificate in counter-terrorism. I have a certificate in conflict resolution. I have a certificate in security in the field, UN security in the field, advanced security certificate in the field by the United Nations. Those are qualifications that I have.
During his reign, the structure and composition of Lebo Jima royal family, matrilineal kin group in Ugep, was enlarged to consist of Lebo Jima royal family, Yabol comprising Ekpani, Efium Atabasi, Elesi descendants, Yakurr Kunebol descendants, and Yakbole descendants, even though not undermining the cognate nature of one entity which Lebo Jima has been enjoying. Subsequent Obolopons of Ugep include Obol Ubi Ujong Ina, who ruled from 1986 to 2015 as the first Yakurr Kunebol descendant. The charismatic Obol Ofem Ubana Eten believes there are possibilities of developing Ugep beyond its present status through the collective efforts of its people, with genuine interest for the advancement of the area. He therefore often identifies such persons and harness their contributions with a view to engendering the needed development of Ugep.
Even you have a talent that is hidden in you. If you are given opportunity, you perform in any field. Before I became a ball, I used to live a quiet life. I was a quiet person. People don't know that. Even in the army, if you tell people that I will hold this kind of position, some of my people might doubt you. But I think I am now displaying those talents that are hidden. So every human being, when you are put in a position, no matter how highly that position is, God will uplift you to fit into that position. That is what I mean by that philosophy.
The royal father, Obol Ofem Ubana Eteng, operates a simple policy of teamwork, respect and regard for constituted modern and traditional authorities. His simplicity endears him to the entire people of Ugep land.
That in all our performances and whatever Obolopon is doing, he will call on us. Then we have to work together with him in anything, whether for good, whether for bad.
Consultation. These are people, Ugep people regard as their leaders, the leaders of the elite. He told you about your coming and invited us to come around and see what intellectual contribution we can make to the proceedings of today. There are not many rulers who do that. He wants us to come around and help him to administer. That is why Ugep people think they have a good leader.
We have a General Assembly known as Kipari outside, which all Ugep people, at least mature people, both sexes, even the girls or the youths, they always attend that, and we do it when there is an emergency or when we want to establish a very important information to the community. So we always call them together. In those days, it is the Ugeptv who speaks, who is the speaker. But as at now, as times are changing, we have now changed it. They have changed it now to Obolo.
He is a disciplined, decent, and peace-loving mediator, a trait he carries to the doorsteps of his subjects. As a royal father, Obol Ofem Obana Eteng is friendly to everybody, easygoing, moves around freely, even without the palace guards.
To my... Okay. Wow, we are going to say.
The development and progress of Ugep town, as well as its people, are his major concern. Ugep has a very rich culture and unique in nature. There is nothing that brings development to a society much more than living in peace and harmony. And indeed, Ugep town is a peaceful place and very accommodating to all visitors.
Ugep, my beloved community. This is to sell Ugep to the world. Even those in America, by the day we shoot this film, those in America will know, will ask. A king without a shirt, that is a very curious thing, because anybody that sees me is curious. So my plan, my hope for Ugep is to develop more than where we are. This community is large, and you have seen it. We are educationally very high. This community has up to 20 professors. So what we are hoping tomorrow is to develop for government presence to be felt in our community.
Population growth is one common thing that the traditional institution of Ugep Kingdom believes in.
The population of Yakurr, or Ugep in particular, is as large as 12% of what the population of Cross River State is. And in that 12%, we have graduates coming out of these universities at the minimum of at least 150, 160 every year.
Ukpawen was also another historic landmark planted by the mythical Ma Esekpa, who was a spirit dwelling under the seemingly immortal tree called Kelilika. It was to hold it in trust for Lebo Jima matrilineal clan. It is the oath ground used for oath taking in the situation of dispute and other related cases. Ugep and indeed Yakurr are living their dreams. The preservation and projection of their common integrity, as well as promoting their cultural heritage as one people under one destiny, remains their major focus. More so, the palace of Ugep Kingdom, under the leadership of Obol Ofem Obana Eteng, is collaborating with all stakeholders to enthrone committed and transparent traditional institution in Ugep land.